My fiancée laughed when I handed her the prenup, a light, airy sound that usually made my heart flutter, but this time it sent a shard of ice through my chest. "A prenup? Seriously, Liam," she said, tossing the leather-bound document onto our glass coffee table as if it were a piece of junk mail. "You either marry me as is, with everything that's yours becoming ours, or you don't marry me at all." A smirk played on her lips, the one I used to find so intoxicatingly confident. I looked at her, at Chloe, the woman I was ready to give my entire world to, and in that moment I felt a sudden, chilling clarity. The beautiful dream we had built together fractured, revealing something ugly underneath. I took a slow breath, the silence in our pristine apartment stretching for an eternity. I calmly met her gaze and replied with just one word: "Okay." If you're new here and love stories that pull you right into the heart of the drama, please subscribe. We're a new channel sharing captivating stories daily, and your support means the world to us. To understand why that single word was a death sentence for our relationship, you need to know a little about me. I'm Liam, I'm 34, and I'm what people call self-made. I didn't inherit a fortune. I built my software company from a laptop in a cramped garage, fueled by cheap coffee and an obsession with coding. My life for a decade was nothing but work. I sacrificed parties, vacations, and relationships. It paid off, but it left me with a quiet, ordered life. I love hiking in silence, the logic of a clean line of code, and the comfort of my own thoughts. Then Chloe swept into my life like a hurricane of color and sound. She was a gallery curator, vibrant and social, with a laugh that could fill any room and a passion for life that I found utterly magnetic. She pulled me out of my shell, introduced me to art and chaos, and made me feel for the first time like I was truly living. We were engaged. Within a year, everyone said we were the perfect balance: the introvert and the extrovert, the logician and the artist. I believed it. I truly did. The idea of a prenuptial agreement wasn't born from a lack of love, or at least that's what I told myself. It was a practical suggestion from my lawyer and business partner, Mark. "Liam, you've built an empire from scratch," he'd said, his tone serious. "You have to protect it. It's not about her, it's about the company, the employees, the future. It's just smart business." I hated the idea. It felt clinical, like I was planning for a failure I couldn't even imagine. Bringing it up with Chloe was one of the hardest things I'd ever done. I rehearsed the words, trying to make them sound casual, loving. She seemed to take it well at first, with a dismissive wave of her hand. "Whatever you think is best, honey. It's just paper, right?" That easy acceptance should have been a relief, but a small, nagging voice in the back of my mind whispered that it was too easy. The process required full financial disclosure from both of us. My finances were an open book: business assets, investments, savings. When I asked Chloe for her documents, she handed them over with a casual shrug, a stack of bank statements and credit card bills held together with a paperclip. I sat at my desk late one night, inputting the figures for our lawyers, my eyes blurry from the screen. That's when I saw it. A recurring payment, $3,000 a month, sent via wire, Transfer to a Mr. Aiden Vance. The description on each transfer simply said, family support. It had been going on for 6 months. I felt a knot form in my stomach. I'd never heard her mention in Aiden Vance. We'd spent countless nights talking about our families, our pasts. I knew about her loving parents in Vermont, her older sister in Chicago. There was no Aiden. The next morning, I tried to ask about it casually over breakfast. Hey, I was going through the statements for the lawyers, I began, my voice trying for nonchalance. I saw the payments to Aiden Vance. Is he a relative? I haven't met. She didn't even look up from her phone. Scrolling through some fashion blog. Oh, that's just my cousin. He's been having a tough time, so I've been helping him out. He's kind of the black sheep of the family. A bit shy, you'll meet him. Eventually. It sounded plausible. Chloe had a generous heart. It was one of the things I loved about her. But something felt wrong. The practiced ease of her answer. The way her eyes never met mine. The black sheep excuse felt like a convenient narrative to prevent any further questions. But I pushed the doubt down. I loved her. I trusted her. This was just pre-wedding jitters, my logical brain overanalyzing everything. So I let it go, and our lawyer drafted the final document, a standard agreement protecting my pre-marital assets and the company. It included a standard infidelity clause, but the real poison, I would soon learn, was already in my veins. It was the lie she had told so effortlessly. And that brought us to the moment. On the couch, I held the finalized prenup, feeling its weight. When I presented it, her whole demeanor changed. The easygoing artist was gone, replaced by a cold, calculating stranger. Her laugh was sharp, mocking. I'm not signing away my future, Liam. We're a team. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours. That's what marriage is. You either marry me, as is, or not at all. Her words hung in the air, an ultimatum laced with arrogance. She believed she had me. She believed my love for her was a weakness she could exploit, that I would fold, apologize, and burn the document, just to keep her. But as I looked at her, all I could see was the lie about Aiden, the easy dismissal, the sudden chilling realization that our foundation wasn't built on love and trust, but on secrets. My love for her wasn't a weakness. It was the thing she was using as leverage. And in that instant, it shattered. Okay. The single word fell from my lips, devoid of anger or sadness. It was just empty, final. Her confident smirk faltered, replaced by a flicker of confusion, then annoyance. Okay? What does okay mean? It means or not at all, I said, standing up. I walked past her, picked up my phone from the kitchen counter, and left the apartment without another word. I didn't slam the door. I closed it, softly behind me, the click of the lock, sounding like the final beat of a heart. The first call I made was to Cynthia, our wedding planner. She was a whirlwind of frantic energy and impeccable taste, who was orchestrating our $500,000 wedding. She answered. On the second ring, her voice a chipper melody. Liam, just the man I wanted to talk to. We need to finalize the floral arrangements for the reception. Cynthia, I interrupted, my voice flat. It's Alex. We need to cancel everything. The silence on the other end was profound. I could hear her breath catch. Cancel? Liam, what are you talking about? The wedding is 6 weeks away. The deposits are all non-refundable. I'm aware, I said. The financial loss feeling like a distant, insignificant sting compared to the gaping wound in my chest. Cancel it all. The venue, the caterer, the band. I'll cover any and all cancellation fees. Just make it go away. But, Chloe, she stammered. Does she? She will, I said, and ended the call. My next call was to my best friend, Mark. He picked up immediately. Hey man, what's up? It's over, I said, the words feeling foreign. Me and Chloe, it's over. There was no shock in his voice. No, what happened? Or, are you serious? Just a heavy sigh, followed by, I never said anything. Man, because you were so happy. But good, I'm on my way over. His words hit me harder than the breakup itself. He had seen something. He had known. And I, blinded by love, had missed it completely. Mark had always been more of a pragmatist, seeing people for who they were, not who they pretended to be. I, on the other hand, had built an entire fantasy around Chloe. It makes me wonder, have you ever had a friend see a huge red flag in your partner that you were completely blind to? Let me know in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious if I'm the only one who has ever been this foolish. Mark arrived with a bottle of scotch and 2 glasses. He didn't press for details. He just sat with me in my sterile hotel room as I stared out the window, the city lights blurring through my unshed tears. For the next few days, I operated on autopilot. I called my parents and my sister, Sarah. They were shocked, but unconditionally supportive. Sarah, a psychologist, listened patiently as I recounted the story, her voice a soothing balm over my raw emotions. People who issue ultimatums like that, Liam, she said gently, are testing boundaries. They're seeing how much they can control. You didn't just respond to her ultimatum. You respected your own boundary. I'm proud of you. Meanwhile, there was nothing but silence from Chloe. Not a single text, not a single call. I knew her strategy. She was giving me the silent treatment, expecting me to crumble under the weight of her absence. She thought I was stewing in my apartment, regretting my decision, ready to come crawling back, prenup in ashes. She had no idea. I wasn't even there. She had no idea that the entire wedding, the entire future she had so confidently laid claim to, was already dismantled and packed away. Fueled by a cold, burning need for the whole truth, I did what I should have done weeks ago. I typed Aiden Vance into a search engine. His social media profile was public. He was a freelance photographer, and his feed was full of stunning, artistic shots. As I scrolled back, my heart hammering against my ribs, I found what I was looking for, an album titled Pura Vida, Costa Rica. It was posted 2 months ago. The pictures were beautiful. Volcanoes, rainforests, exotic birds. And then I saw it. A photo of a pristine, white sand beach at sunset. In the corner of the frame, a woman was walking, away from the camera, her silhouette dark against the setting sun. But it was her. The long, blonde hair, the specific way she carried herself, and on her wrist, a glint of silver, the bracelet I had given her for her birthday. Another photo was tagged with several people, and one of the comments caught my eye. It was from Chloe's best friend, Jessica. Looks like you two had an amazing romantic escape. So jealous. The family support loan, the secret cousin, it was all a lie. The $3,000 a month wasn't helping a down-on-his-luck relative. It was funding her affair. The trip to Costa Rica wasn't a solo photography expedition for him. It was their romantic getaway, paid for with my money while I was at home working, planning our future, loving a woman who didn't exist. The confirmation felt like a punch to the gut, but also like a key turning in a lock. My world was falling apart, but for the first time in months, it was making sense. The lies, the arrogance, the ultimatum, it all clicked into place. If you're invested in seeing how this ends, and how she finally found out, please take a moment to subscribe. Your support helps us tell more stories just like this one. The day it all came crashing down for her was a Tuesday. I know this because the owner of the bridal boutique, a kind woman named Mrs. Dubois, called me afterward to express her sympathies. Chloe, I learned, had arrived for her final dress fitting. She'd waltzed in, beaming, probably expecting to tell the good staff how she'd put her silly fiancé in his place. She likely imagined wearing that dress, walking down the aisle to a man she had successfully manipulated. But when she entered, the boutique was quiet. Her custom-made $20,000 gown wasn't waiting for her on the pedestal. The seamstresses weren't bustling around. Mrs. Dubois approached her, her face etched with pity. "Chloe, dear," she said softly, "I'm so sorry. Mr. Sterling's assistant called a few days ago. He canceled the final payment and settled the account. The wedding, he said it's been called off." I can only imagine the scene, the color draining from her face, the confusion turning to panic, then to pure, undiluted rage. The public humiliation. Her phone rang less than 5 minutes later. I was hiking a trail upstate, the one we were supposed to hike for our honeymoon, trying to clear my head. "Honey, I saw her name flash on the screen, and I answered, my voice calm. "Where is my dress?" she shrieked, her voice shrill with fury. "I imagine it's still at the boutique," I replied evenly. "But since there's no wedding, I figured you wouldn't need it." "You canceled the wedding? You canceled it without telling me? Over a stupid piece of paper?" "It was never about the paper, Chloe," I said, the words coming easily now. "It was about the lies. It was about Aiden Vance, or should I say, your photographer boyfriend? You took to Costa Rica 2 months ago with my money." Dead silence. For the first time, she was speechless. I could hear her ragged breathing, the sound of her entire world collapsing around her. The arrogance was gone, replaced by the frantic sound of a liar who had finally been caught. "Liam, I can explain," she finally whispered, her voice pathetic, desperate. "It was before we got serious. It meant nothing. I was going to end it. You called him your cousin, Chloe. You lied to my face for months while planning our wedding. You tried to lock me into a marriage under false pretenses, without a prenup, so you could secure your future. The only thing you're sorry about is that you got caught. The weeks that followed were a painful blur of untangling our lives." Her pathetic apologies turned into angry demands, then into bitter threats from her lawyers, which went nowhere since we weren't married. My friends and family formed a protective circle around me. My sister Sarah helped me see that the heartbreak was necessary, a painful surgery to remove a sickness I didn't even know I had. I wasn't just grieving Chloe, I was grieving the man I was with her, a naive, trusting man who had been so desperate for warmth that he had willingly ignored the fire that was destined to burn him. Now, months later, I'm standing on a mountain peak. The air is crisp and clean, and the world stretches out below me, vast and quiet. This was supposed to be our honeymoon spot, but being here alone feels right. It feels like a reclamation. The prenuptial agreement was never the bomb that blew up our lives. It was just the metal detector that found the bomb Chloe had already planted. It didn't destroy our trust. It merely revealed that trust had never existed in the first place. I lost a fiancé, a wedding, and a substantial amount of money. But I found the truth, and in the end, I think I gained back myself. So was the prenup a curse that doomed my relationship, or was it a blessing in disguise? Did I dodge a bullet, or did I destroy my own happiness with a simple lack of faith? I honestly don't have all the answers. Share your thoughts and theories in the comments. I'll be reading them.